Let's rock. Guys, today I sent Cage the link to start our show, and the guy was on like that. And I could only take that to mean that he couldn't be more excited for today's episode. And why wouldn't he be? Ohtani's not going to get more than 15 home runs after the All-Star break? Check. Red Sox are going to be overperformers this season? Check. In the wild card game. Rafael Devers is going to have a huge season? Check. Mariners, young crop of talent, but they're building for a future? Check.
Blue Jays.
Giants.
Blue Jays, Giants. Yeah, man, we did good. We had a lot of good baseball predictions this year. We definitely did.
I got to give you credit, man. The guy prepares. The guy knows baseball. He's been watching the games since forever. And MLB Playoffs started. And tomorrow we have Yankees, Red Sox, and a wild card game that's going to be epic. Then we have Dodgers, Cardinals on Wednesday. So ton to go over here, which players to buy, what to look out for, how these playoffs are going to shape out. But first, guys, I wanted to make an announcement. So Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all that stuff is down. I think Twitter is a little bit finicky. So let's do this. So we started our Discord about 2-3 weeks ago. We didn't want to push it on you guys because if you want to communicate on Instagram, great. Facebook, great. Wherever you guys want to communicate with us is fine. But if Instagram's down and we can't communicate with you guys, join our Discord. So here's how you're going to do it. The link's in our bio on Instagram if you want to go there. But here's my cell phone number. You guys could text me and I'll shoot you all individually the link. So if you can't communicate with us on Instagram today because it's down, my phone number is 215-519-9154. Text me. Okay, I'll send you guys our link. I'll catch you up. Anything you guys need because most of our socials are down. And that's across the board, and no one knows when they'll be back up. And it means the world to us. We want to communicate with our community. We have this amazing podcast, 215-519-9154. Shoot me a text. I'll get you into our Discord, and we'll be off to the races. So without further ado, let's get into another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. Oh, my. Yeah, it's not my first rodeo.
I can only imagine how many gambling accounts you're going to be signed up for now. You're going to be getting all Sunday morning from 10 to 1. It's going to be, hey, it's Vito. Vito wins. I got the 3 winners for you. Hey, do you play? You're going to get signed out of that. Someone's going to get signed up for so many things just by me. I figured out what everybody else is going to do now. That's amazing. Good for you.
It's worth it.
Think about that. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I don't listen to many podcasts out there other than ours. And, I can imagine people are probably not giving out their cell phone numbers, though. I mean, I don't think Joe Rogan's putting his cell phone number out there. I don't think anybody else is putting their cell phone numbers out there. So that's pretty awesome of you. You guys cannot have my cell phone. The few of you that have it, don't leave me alone already. So just stick to Instagram and Twitter and whatever else. I mean, I love you guys, and I'll respond to you, but you can't have my cell phone. I'm sorry. I don't love you that much. So you can just have Andrews. And, if you have a message for me, text him, and he'll get it to me. Dude, I'm excited about baseball. We're switching it up. I definitely am. I'm excited about baseball. I'm excited about this month. And, I need this because, the seasons change, right? And today my pool was closed, and, it's a little bit of a sadness, another season, turn. I'm getting older. I'm going to be 45 years old in like a week. And, I picked up my pool filter today to bring it into my garage, and my back is like exploding in pain. My arm hurts still from carrying around my PSA cases. It's getting wintry. So you know what? If the season's going to change, at least give me baseball. Now, it could really fall apart if in the wild card game, the 1-game elimination, the Yankees go to Fenway and get sent home. And what's funny about it, we can set it up better than this. But what's funny about it is while my heart is saying go Yankees, my brain is saying the Red Sox are going to beat us.
Even this is where pitching matters, right?
Yep.
I mean, is he the ace? Is he the $200 million guy that they brought in? And I think a big part of this, and this is important. Red Sox were down 5-1 in that game versus the Nationals, and I think they scored 4 runs in the 9th to win that game. And game play at Fenway, right?
They tied it up, and then Devers hit a home run in the 9th inning. They were down. They definitely were down, and they tied it up. Devers had a monstrous game. I mean, he had a home run early on.
That was a huge win because they would have made the playoffs either way, I believe, because the Mariners lost. But what was the key there? Now they're playing at Fenway, right?
Yes.
opposed to they would have been playing
by
at
winning there,
Bronx.
by the Yankees losing 2 out of 3 to Tampa Bay, and the Red Sox winning during this weekend against the Nationals. Yes, they tied the season with the same record. I believe they're both 92 and 70. And because the Red Sox won, get this, you want to talk about a coin flip series, because the Red Sox won 10 out of their 19 matchups this year. The Red Sox were 10-9 against the Yankees. That head-to-head matchup gives them home field advantage. You know, the fact they played 19 times during the season and it mattered, right? So yeah, what the Yankees did differently than the Red Sox was the Red Sox used Sale and the Yankees held back Garrett Cole. You know, I guess they figured if they lost, the Yankees would still be in kind of like a head-to-head, you know, like a playoff matchup, you know, winner take all before they get to this, and they could use Garrett Cole for that elimination. So, you know, they, I mean, listen, the Yankees have Garrett Cole, but honestly, Cole's been injured. I think he hurt his hamstring in September, so he hasn't really looked like the dominant potential Cy Young pitcher for his last couple of starts. So
it's a tough injury too, Cage. Like, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but you're pushing off every single play, and hamstring something that like that could linger, you know?
It definitely is it definitely is not just lingering, but I mean, you can tell that he has not looked the same. I mean, going into the last couple of matchups, that American League Cy Young, you know, award was still potentially his, and I think he lost it. You know, with his performance, his not so great performance. So it is what it is, man. I mean, this is an interesting playoff. So we'll get to the Yankees Red Sox in a second. I mean, you want to talk about 4 storied franchises all playing in a 1-game elimination, right? You got Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Cardinals, right? And the Cardinals come in, you know, I mean, just a huge amount of momentum, right? Just a huge amount of momentum. And the Dodgers, even though they didn't win that division, won like 106 games or something crazy like that, right? 106 games. They're the favorites to win the whole thing right now. Vegas has them in there, even though they finished 1 game behind the Giants. They're the favorites to win. And just to have the bracket set up front here, guys. After that wild card, whoever wins the Yankees Red Sox plays Tampa. Then on the other side, the 2 and 3 is the Astros against the White Sox. On the National League side of the equation, whoever gets out of the Dodgers Cardinals plays the Giants, and then the 2-3 is the Brewers playing the Braves. So there's your full bracket there. I'm pretty sure you could find something on like MLB.com or whatever it is, a bracket challenge if you feel like doing one of those. You know, it used to just be March Madness, but now it's not. First game is Tuesday. Tomorrow it's the Yankees American League wild card, and then followed by Wednesday's National League wild card. It's crazy. So the Dodgers are favored to win. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk about the Dodgers-Cardinals game real quick, because this game reminds me of, I think it was 2014 maybe, when the Giants won the World Series. I think it was Kershaw was facing the Cardinals. I think it was Kershaw was facing the Cardinals. I think it was in 2014, and it was maybe the biggest bet I've ever made in my life. Put $1,000 on the money line on the Cardinals. And this Cardinals team, man, this game's going to come down to taking pitches, right? Running up that pitch count on Scherzer, because he's been unstoppable. And can they get him out of the game? Can they get him out of the game in the 6th inning and 7th inning? You think he's going to go complete game? But if there's one team that could take pitches, that could foul balls off, right? The key isn't going to be to beat Scherzer in the first 5. It's to get him out before the 6th. And I don't think there's a better team, a more experienced team out there than the Cardinals. And I think the Cardinals beat the Dodgers in this game. I'm going out on the limb. I'm saying they win this game and they make it out of the wild card.
You know what I think I need you to do? You got to go get your banana hat. You got to go get your banana hat for that one and make that play. Get the banana hat, put it on. We'll introduce everybody who's not on our Whatnot stream to the banana hat, because this will be your bananas play. It doesn't have to just be a bananas football play. This is so on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., guys, we do a Whatnot NFL preview show. We've been doing pretty good. And Andrew makes a bananas play. He puts his bananas hat on, right? He has the matching banana hammock, but because he's sitting down, he's not showing you guys that. But his bananas play for the day, right? I mean, so obviously tune in on Saturdays at 10 if you can. But it's banana plays the Cardinals. And here's why it's bananas, right? Because even if they get Scherzer out, this is like a game 7. You know, they have – so it's funny. They have Scherzer and Walker Buehler, who are aces, number ones on any other team, right? They're ones on this team, 1 and 2. But Julio Urias, he won 20 games also. And here's the best part, right? So Corey Seager, last year's MVP of the World Series, right? He hit 6 home runs in their final 7 games. But he didn't hit 20 this year because he was injured. But that doesn't matter because the Dodgers have 6 other people who hit at least 20 home runs. Their team is just so far and away better than what everybody else puts out there from a balanced standpoint, right? It's really just nuts. And I love the Cardinals. I love the way they play baseball, and I love the way they find a way to grind and win. And it's not as crazy a play as it's made out to be because it's a 1 game, right? The Cardinals could just jump on Scherzer. He might not have his stuff in the first inning, and you don't come back from that. But the Dodgers are just the most complete team. I mean, you're a Vegas odds kind of guy. Vegas odds on this: the Dodgers are plus 375 to win it all. The Cardinals are plus 1,800 with the Red Sox as the longest long shots. Plus 1,800 to win the whole thing.
I don't think that's very fair. I think that's an interesting play. I mean, wild cards in baseball win all the time.
Yeah.
Wild cards in baseball. I mean, the Royals won as a
well.
wild
The
card.
Dodgers would be a wild card too, so they could win. The Dodgers.
Here's what I stay away from, Cage. I worry about teams that kind of sleepwalk through the season. And it's crazy to say that 106 wins, they sleepwalk through the season. But they kind of did. Is that fair to say or no?
Yeah, sort of like LeBron's Lakers. But
they didn't win.
Correct. That's the point you're trying to make, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Isn't that what you're trying to say? The point you were making, I'm leading you there. This is what we do. You're worried about teams. You got the banana hat on. It's messing with
well, I'm in this place in my life now. Whenever I hear like the word LeBron, it like short circuits my brain. It like puts it in a pretzel.
I love it. That's amazing.
I'm not biased at all, guys.
LeBron. Well, listen, I mean, there are crazier things that could happen. I'll tell you, there are things that trigger me about this. I hate that the Astros will again have an easy path to the ALCS. I mean, Vegas odds has the Rays and the Astros favored to come out of the American League, which, it's great. It's basically put it on repeat, right? Just
White Sox
replay
get
the
any
same
love?
thing again. No. The last 2 AL representatives in the World Series are the Rays and the Astros. Tampa and Houston played 7 games last year. The Astros have made the ALCS 4 straight years. They won it in 17 and 19. And, the Rays lost to the Dodgers last year, and they won 100 games this year. So, I mean, put a little respect on them. It's the reason why the Red Sox are plus 1,800, the Yankees are plus 1,300. Those perennial powerhouses are the bottom 2 out of the bottom 3 in odds. It's pretty crazy, man. I mean, the Yankees Red Sox one is really going to be interesting because I think if the Red Sox get out of it, and that is about as coin flippy as you can, right? I mean, Cole's hamstring makes it much more of a coin flip type of game. I think the Yankees are like minus 120, like slight favorites on betting lines. If the Red Sox advance, I think Tampa just destroys them. I think Tampa's just a much better team. I don't think the Yankees have much for Tampa either. We've seen that, that Tampa really handles them. But I think at least the Yankees give them a little bit of a better run. I want to, with my heart, say that the Yankees win, but it's more of a bet on the Red Sox offense at home. If Stanton and Judge do anything in that field, they can put up really crooked numbers. But I think the Red Sox advance there. I think the Dodgers advance in the wild cards. I think Tampa takes out the Red Sox. I think the Dodgers advance all the way from the wild card straight through. It won't even matter really who they're playing. I think they're going to get a lot of fun, right? So then you get the Giants-Dodgers. That gets fun.
I got to tell you, man, Chris Bryant cards are super interesting. I'm going to take this ridiculous hat off.
I love it. Thank you for being a good sport and putting it on.
I love this. It's kind of a funny hat, and I hit my play yesterday. Arizona Cardinals over the Rams. It's a pretty good one. Pretty good weekend.
Very good one.
Let alone that my power went out midway through the stream. I think this Giants team is really tough, man. I think, Buster Posey's been behind the plate for as long as we can remember. He calls an amazing game. But, dude, they have a good team. Brandon Belt's been with this team since 2000, whenever. I mean, he won. He was with them in 2014, 16 when they won. Brandon Crawford as well. So you have a core leadership team, and then you add Chris Bryant, man. Are Chris Bryant cards worth a look, man? Is it that cardboard relevant thing where he was a huge prospect? He came on, burst onto the scene, won a championship with the Cubs, and now people just forget that he was so good. I mean, he was up there with Bryce Harper.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, one great postseason can turn that all around, 100%. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take much to do that. And it could really make him relevant again, and he's in the right place to do it. But he's one of those momentum plays, right? He's one of those guys that's exactly what we talk about with, you got to catch it riding up. And once they have this hiccup, it's very hard to regain that where they were, right? It's very hard to get back up on the horse with momentum. And he had a huge amount of momentum and basically lost all of it. So could he turn that around? 100%. But he's got to have one of those, one of those postseasons where, wow, this is great. It's funny to see, like Chris Bryant, he won one. I mean, Anthony Rizzo, right? He won one. Look, they're all on teams. Joe Gallo. There are a lot of names out there that are,
Joe Gallo is maybe the most overrated player I've ever heard of because he came into the scene. He was like one of the best prospects ever. He went to the Rangers, died. I mean, Texas hasn't been good in ever since Prince Fielder was fat. But Joey Gallo, you can't put Joey Gallo in the Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant combo.
I mean, I'm just saying these are guys who were in the playoffs who were traded at the, at the trade deadline, and there are names that could redeem themselves. On the National League side, right? The Braves
home runs though.
Yeah, he hits a lot of home runs. The Braves were a great story, but they played in the worst division basically in the world, the worst division, the worst record of any team in the playoffs. The Braves. The cool thing about the Braves there is, when Acuna went down, everybody just wrote them off. Everybody said they were dead, and they obviously weren't. They made the playoffs. The Brewers, I've been talking about Christian Yelich forever. He did not have a good season again. COVID kind of derailed him. He was one of those guys that was in that short list of second best player to Trout with like Mookie Betts and those guys win the MVP. I mean, a good postseason, a nice postseason series and advancing could help his cause out. And his cards, they're really cheap right now. I do own some Yelich cards just so that, everybody's on the same page there. But I think the Brewers advance, and I think the Brewers ultimately lose to the Dodgers. But we shall see.
You know what baseball misses, Cage? You know how controversy sells, rivalries sell.
Yeah.
The two best teams, I mean, like what this is shaping up, I think it's Giants, Rays is kind of where we're at. That's what we think that the finals, that World Series.
I think it's going to be the Dodgers. I think it's the Dodgers Rays. I think it's Dodgers Rays again. But yeah, I mean, the Giants could be the Giants and the Rays.
Dodgers have some star power. You can market Mookie Betts. You could market that team. I mean, the Giants and the Rays,
none.
Not a lot of star power that baseball markets, right?
None. No star power at all. None. Which you're right. I mean, that makes it tough for baseball, right? It's almost like seeing, Milwaukee play against Phoenix.
So I'm curious, Luca Nation. So we're 18 minutes into the show. Are you guys even interested in the MLB playoffs? Are you
that
guys
is the
going to be
question,
watching?
right? A lot of people don't even know that baseball is going on right now. People don't even care. But if you can't find drama in a Yankees-Red Sox one game at Fenway, that's drama. The only bad part about that is you lose one of those, and those are better when that's the ALCS 7-game. Although, if the Yankees or Red Sox could get past Tampa and you're setting up a Yankees-Astros series for the ALCS, which could happen, that could be some nice headlines. That could draw some eyes and some garbage pails out of the woodwork.
And Giants-Dodgers. If the Dodgers beat the Cardinals, Giants-Dodgers is an
Giants-Dodgers. Yeah, I imagine the Giants-Dodgers series is going to be a very good one. It's the two teams with the best record in baseball. They were chasing each other all year. Are the Giants for real? Are the Dodgers going to run over them? Obviously, two California teams. I want to see the I'm glad to see the Astros in the playoffs. I'm glad to see the Yankees in the playoffs. For a while there, certain folks were calling the Yankees garbage, saying that their fans were trash and, that the team is trash. And look, they made the playoffs. They do what they do. They found a way. They found a way to make the playoffs. And I, for one, as a Yankee fan, would love to see them advance a little bit here. They were a surprise team a couple years ago when Judge and Glaber and Sanchez were like the baby bombers. And they did a little better than people thought they were going to do when they advanced in the playoffs. And people were like, all right, well, next year when they're ready, they'll do. And they haven't gotten back there. Now, there's less expectations. People think they're going to get knocked out in one gamer. So it would be nice It'd be nice. Maybe they'll play a little looser because they're not really. They're a long shot right now. You know, they're 13-1 to win the World Series right now. So, you know, maybe they'll play a little looser. Maybe they actually do something. That's my heart talking, not my brain, guys. That team has horrible pitching, and pitching is where you win in the playoffs. And you look at some of the other teams pitching. I mean, what the Dodgers have, forget about it. Nobody can match up with that. But almost every other team has better pitching than.
Well, I mean, here's my play, and we talked about it yesterday. If the Dodgers, I would wait till Wednesday. Apologize, when the Dodgers play the Cardinals. If the Dodgers do beat the Cardinals, I mean, you gave this play Max Scherzer's worth a look.
Yep.
I think Mookie Betts cards are worth a look because in a 5-game series, in a 7-game series, it's tough to match up with that team. But in a 1-game series, anything can happen. We know that. In a 1-game series, anything can happen. So I would wait to play Scherzer or Betts when it comes to their cards till after that 1-game wild card series. But I don't know if we're done with baseball, but I wanted to switch to football real quick.
Shoot. Yeah, we could be done. Listen, this is a wide open baseball. I'll just put a capper on it, right? You know, we've talked about it being Tampa against the Dodgers. I've seen a lot of places put it as Milwaukee against the Astros because Milwaukee leads in like almost every pitching category, and they have the most lockdown, you know, closer. And Hader was 34 out of 35 in saves. They led the leagues in strikeouts, third in ERA, quality starts, whereas the Astros were the top in hitting, right? The Astros led the league in runs and hits and batting average. So it is really about as wide open as it can be. You know, I could see almost any team in this 10-team, not 16-team field like last year, this 10-team field, you know, have a shot. Maybe not the Braves, but and maybe not the White Sox. But other than that, I think almost every team has a shot at it. But yeah, football. Fun weekend in football.
Very fun weekend.
How'd your fantasy thing wind up? Because I know you were calling BS on fantasy. Give me a fantasy. What happened in fantasy? Tell the folks.
So I have Patrick Mahomes. 5 touchdowns,
Mm-hmm.
280 yards, and he gets 32 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other guy, my opponent had Tyreek Hill, who had 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. Incredible game. Both incredible games. Guess how many points Tyreek Hill got for him?
More than Mahomes.
48 points.
Yeah.
So he got 16 more points, even though he got 2 less touchdowns.
Well, because receiving yards are worth points, and passing yards, you have to have more yards than receiving yards. And also, I believe we're in PPR league, so you get a point for every reception.
I understand how the points work. But like,
obviously, you don't. You're very angry.
Well, that disparity feels off. Like 5 touchdowns for a quarterback is a lot of touchdowns.
That's true.
3 touchdowns for a wide receiver is a lot of touchdowns. To me, those are pretty equivalent games. I don't think that I should have 66% of the points that he had.
Listen, I'm not going to complain about the scoring. I won yesterday solely on the back of Deebo Samuel having a wide open 70-something yard touchdown from Trey Lance, where the defense just forgot that he was on the field. So Deebo has won me 2 of my 3 weeks himself. He's had 2 incredible games. So yeah, man. I mean, just that's a scoring thing. Quarterbacks are not they're worth a lot, but there's not a lot of disparity in the quarterbacks. You know, 1 to 12 in the league. You know, someone's going to get you 18, someone's going to get you 25. 32 is an amazing scoring output for a quarterback. I think I had Lamar Jackson get me like 18 yesterday, dude. So
Jalen Hurts, who I'm playing, got 27 points. So I got 32, got 27. Here is Jalen Hurts' stat line: 2 touchdowns and a fumble, 380 yards. Mahomes has 280 yards and 5 touchdowns and an interception. And the difference between those 2 players is 5 points.
So I'm betting that the difference there, the 100 yards is about 4 points, and that makes up for 1 touchdown. But I'm betting that Hurts had some rushing yards.
47 yards.
Well, that's it. That's worth more than 1 passing touchdown.
That's idiotic.
Why? That's the league. Rushing yards are worth more than passing yards.
No, just think about it objectively. Like, fantasy should be a representation of how well these guys do. Mahomes had 5 touchdowns. Hurts had 2. But because he had 47 yards of rushing, it's a 5. It doesn't make sense. But I went to bed last night. I had 117 points total. Now I have 119. So a few little adjustments.
Right.
I don't know where they came
Are
from.
you winning, though?
No. I had the Bills, who got 24 points. No, 4 interceptions, 3 sacks.
How about a defense getting 24 points? That's absurd.
So I have one guy left. It's Mike Williams tonight, and he needs to get 15 points, and I'm good.
Well, it's a PPR league. Mike Williams should get 15 points.
Don't say that.
Does your opponent have any other players?
No, he's got no one.
All right, well, then your opponent, whoever it is who's listening to this, you should be rooting for the Raiders tonight.
Yes, he should be. Dude,
Let's go Raiders.
My team is tough. Like through 4 games this season. By the way, we're giving away slabs to the highest point total earner. But through 4 games this season, my team has given the points against highest in the league by a mile. It means I played the toughest 4 teams. But I'm still.
It happens. It happens, man. It happens. Fantasy. There's nothing as bittersweet. It's like a Pepsi Zero sugar commercial. You know, Pepsi Zero sugar. You know, like what happens when your fantasy team, the player on your fantasy team, has a great game against the team you're a fan of in real life?
I'm not a fan of teams. I'm a terrible fan. But I'll tell you, I'm kind of a fan of Mac Jones now. And it's funny how they found their quarterback and how he looks identical to their old quarterback.
Yeah.
Kind of unathletic. Like you wouldn't think that he's a quarterback, but dude, that guy held his own. 18 straight completions. 19.
Yeah, tied Brady. Tied the longest Brady's ever had in his career, by the way.
Yeah. Obviously, Richard Sherman, when you come out of retirement and first game back, it's tough to stay with professional wide receivers, but that was impressive.
He had a fumble recovery. He had some good coverage.
He held his own, but they were picking on him. They were definitely picking on him. But I'm a believer in Mac Jones, and if I were to look at Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Tua, all these guys that came into the league with a lot more hype than Mac Jones, frankly, when his cards come out, I don't know when Prism comes out, maybe December, Prism football?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't have the deal. I can look.
I would take a look at Mac Jones. I really, really would, because I don't think he has some of the hype, and I don't think he's going to have the hype this season. This team is kind of one of those teams that's rebuilding, and they remind me of what you talked about with the Mariners. Mm-hmm. They're building for next year. Man, I'll tell you, Mac Jones is going to be in this league for a long time, in my opinion. He's a smart guy, really understands football. They showed he had that quick release that Brady has, and I think he's worth an investment. I think so.
I agree, by the way. I mean, he would be one that I was going to talk about in next week's Whatnot show. But, I mean, he looked good. He really did. He didn't look like he made too many mistakes. There were picks, but not his fault, like off his receiver's hands and tip drill and that kind of stuff. So, interesting stuff, man. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that could turn into something. Can we talk about Sam Darnold?
Sure.
Are you a buyer on Darnold?
Real quick, right now he doesn't have great receivers either. So I'd be interested, if he gets one perennial. I'm sure they'll go after some perennial wide receivers, but perennial all-stars. Go ahead.
They spent a lot of money in the offseason. They'll probably do it again. That's one thing the Patriots do. The Patriots will build around their guys. So I guess I forget what I asked. I don't remember. Sam Darnold. Yeah, what do you think about Sam Darnold?
I didn't get the chance to watch any of the games yesterday because my power went out. Wait, let me rephrase. The Mexican government just decided to cut power on a Sunday morning to everybody in Tulum to fix something. So I didn't watch any of Sam Darnold. I haven't watched any of the Panthers games. So I don't know. I see he's putting up numbers, but I also see he throws a lot of interceptions.
I think he leads the league in rushing touchdowns.
Is that important?
Yeah, because he's scrambling. Like, he's scrambling well. He looks more athletic. It's a part of his game I didn't even realize that he had, mostly because I couldn't watch Jet games because they're painful. But I watch him. He's making plays with his legs. He looks much more athletic. And maybe it's just the quarterbacks or the quarterback coach and the coaches over in Carolina letting him do some stuff, or maybe he has a better offensive line or what the story is. But take a look, man. I mean, a couple times yesterday, open field, he couldn't find a receiver. He tucked it and ran. He looks comfortable. This was the guy who saw ghosts, right? This was the guy who always looked uncomfortable as a Jet quarterback. And, I mean, maybe it's the Jets. Maybe it's the Jets. I don't know. But he looks. I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers or anything like that, but that's somebody who we kind of like left for dead, basically. But he's having a good season. You looking at his stats? Yeah,
but 5 rushing touchdowns on 52 rushing yards. Like, that's going to regress to the mean, in my opinion.
All right. I think Tom Brady might have 52 rushing yards for his career. It's not the point. The point is 52 rushing yards. It's not that bad in 4 games. He's not doing it because he's looking to run. Although some of those inside the 5 are definitely designed runs for him, which is a nice thing to have as a quarterback. he's extending plays with his legs, which is something I didn't see, and that's something a quarterback needs to have in the league now. I know we were doing a baseball thing. I wanted to look for the stats here, but it's funny. One of the things that we don't talk about, because I was looking at the White Sox, see if they had any kind of a play for the playoffs, and their division was trash. And I remember in the midseason one, Cleveland had a great record, and I said fade Cleveland. If you're betting, fade Cleveland. They're terrible. The numbers are against them. They're getting very lucky. They're winning a lot of close games, and they basically were like a 300 team in the second half. Like they finished well under 500. It's another one of those that we didn't even add into the MLB prediction machine. I'll have to cut up some video myself. But yeah, man, it's good stuff. What are you pulling up? Sam Darnold?
Yeah, so for me, and I brought Sam Darnold as a play, I think right around the 125, 135
Yeah,
mark.
you did.
I would be looking to sell in the next 2-3 weeks. If this gets to $200, if you could find, because this is growing, 36% rate of growth. I could see this maybe getting to 185, 190, 200. I would be selling on Darnold, man. I'm not a believer of his. To me, I think he's overachieving. I really do.
All right. Well, listen, the point is there are people who have his stuff, right? And do you know how many quarterbacks in NFL history have had 5 rushing touchdowns in his team's first 4 games of the season?
4?
None. He's the first one to do it.
Really?
Yep. He has now more rushing. He tied what he had in the 3 seasons combined. 5 in the 3 years with the Jets in his first 4 games there. I know it's rushing touchdowns. It's a weird thing, right? But he's the first quarterback in league history to rush with 5 touchdowns during his team's first 4 games. Pretty crazy.
It's one of those stats that, to me, it's deceiving, right? What if – so I remember Christian McCaffrey 2 games ago or 1 game ago, he must have got tackled 6 times on the 1-yard line. And I don't know, did Sam Darnold rush it in from there?
No, the 5th one was nice. I think it was like a 12-yarder. You take a look at the video of it. He's in the shotgun. He's looking to throw, and he's one of those guys. This is what I go for. He's not going to win MVP, but you know me. I'm a Devontae Graham. I'm a most improved player. He's definitely comeback player of the year right now. He's definitely making his case for that, which is all he could have asked for, right? This is one of those things, right, where he could have been out of the league. The Panthers gave him a shot and said, you know what, this is it. Either he makes something out of this and shows that he can play quarterback in the league, or he's done, a la Geno Smith and a bunch of other Jet quarterbacks, Mark Sanchez and the like, right? So he has an opportunity, and look what he's doing with it, right? He's
right.
Doing well. He's doing well. So
for me, the number I look for is this: it's the completion percentage. And for the Jets, you had 59.6.
Well, he's got to be over 60.
It's 68.
Yeah, so that's huge.
That's a big deal. That's a huge deal for me. In the NFL, you have to be accurate, man. The margin of error is so slim. It's not college, and that's a big deal. If you look at last year, Josh Allen also took that step up. He was a perennial 59%er, and he went up to 68%. That's the stuff I look at to see, can this quarterback last in the game?
So I bring this up for Darnold because Terry Bradshaw tweeted yesterday, I think he tweeted after the game. He goes, I don't want to paraphrase. I think the Panthers have hit on the best quarterback in franchise history. The Panthers, right? Didn't they have an MVP quarterback, I think?
Cam Newton was
MVP
on that team.
Who I was talking about, yes. So, look, it's just one man's opinion. I think it's a little crazy. And maybe he's trying to make a name for himself because he's got a TV show coming out or something like that. But, who the heck knows?
I'll say this. Now we're kind of riffing today. It's a little bit of a different episode. I think people actually like these kind of when it's banter. We haven't talked in a while. We're basically having a conversation for all you guys to join in on. Mm-hmm. I can see this team taking a step up next year if they add if they add a good wide receiver. They have an incredible crew right now, but if they had another wide receiver, maybe another tight end. But the main thing is Christian McCaffrey. He can never stay healthy. He's always injured. So if they could string a full season of health together, he could put up some numbers. I could see him having a pretty serious season.
DJ Moore's been great, man. He's 4th in the league in receiving yards. A lot of those they've had to throw a little bit, but But yeah, I mean, obviously, we talked about Sam coming into the league, coming into the season this year, that McCaffrey was the ultimate, security blanket for him, and now he's injured, where he often is. But McCaffrey injuries, I wonder if his cards are down on card ladder. Christian McCaffrey.
All right, I see what you're doing.
So
I'll pick up what you're putting down.
Him being injured has allowed for one of the greatest names in football to actually be out there, Chuba Hubbard. Now, if that's not a guy you want to collect, you don't belong in collecting. Like, you should collect that guy just first. I am a Chuba Hubbard collector. That's it. I'll say it right now.
Can I show you something?
Yeah, no, please shoot.
So, if you go to Card Ladder, let's go to the Lucas Silver Prism PSA 10.
Oh,
okay?
come on! You're gonna make me sad that we sold this card right at the bottom.
You see what it says?
What does it say?
It says employee owned. This card or another copy of this card is owned by an employee.
Look at that! Hey, now I like it.
We're pretty honorable.
Look at that. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. Well done. I like it.
When Cage is happy, I'm happy.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. That makes me happy.
We talked a little MLB playoff preview. We recapped NFL Week 4. Guys, I know Instagram, Facebook's down, so we haven't been able to post. We can't DM you. We can't communicate. So shoot me a text message, 215-519-9154, or click the link in our Instagram bio. I'm not even sure if that will work, but there is a link where you could join our Discord. And that's been up and running. It's been buzzing all day. It's where we've been communicating with people.
And Twitter's been working too, guys. So you can get Cage Lawyers with an S at the end. Andrew's on there. I'm Andrew Goldberg. Lucas Tigers and Brian.
I am A Goldberg.
I am A Goldberg.
And it was too long to.
You can't fit it all. You know, I mean, that's what happens. That's what she said. So, no, nothing for that.
I did. I went like this.
All right. I did my Michael Scott for that one. All right, guys. Listen, it's over his head. Take care, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this one.
I understood the joke. What did you want me to do? Like jump through the screen and
enjoy the baseball.
High five, Cage.
No, I want you to explain the joke to our listeners.
Everyone has watched The Office.
All right, guys. This was fun. Enjoy. We'll talk to you guys soon.